Let's go to Tyler in Dallas. What's up, Tyler?
Hi, can you hear me?
I can. What's up?
Okay. So I don't know where to start.
Just anywhere is cool. We can make it up as we go.
Okay. I have come, I guess, to the conclusion that my parents were very emotional, immature, I think is the word. And it was really hard and like growing up. And I had an older brother who like really scared me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I just didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And I, as a 15-year-old, what else do you do?
Yeah.
I say that kind of like as a joke.
How did your brother scare you?
Just like really aggressively. It wasn't anything like sexual or anything, but just, I mean, he would like come at me like across the room
Mm-hmm.
and like get in my face. And
did he ever hit you?
not so much like by the time I was 15, but when we were younger, he would like literally push us down and like get in our face and like pin us down and like wouldn't let us go.
Yeah.
And
you said us. Did you have other siblings in the house?
Yeah, I have two older brothers and a younger sister, and I would like lay awake and like be scared, and I don't know. Sometimes I just wish my sister was a little bit more vocal than I was, and I was scared for her, and I would just think like, just hush, like you don't know what he's gonna do.
Yeah.
And anyway,
I'm
sorry.
Hey, no, don't. Hold on. Never apologize. Okay. I'm so sorry that happened. Your older brother is supposed to be your pathway through life, right? Supposed to clear the deck for his baby sister. Supposed to hold her up. Hold on. Your brother should have given you some things that he didn't give you, and I'm so sorry. And your parents should not have let that nonsense go on, and I'm so sorry.
Thank you. And I've never actually said like things like that out loud.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm just by myself a lot because I just don't want to be around people, and your mind can take advantage of you sometimes. And I started like self-harming, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe is the term to use. I don't know.
That's all clinically. Tell me about what actually happens in practice.
I guess maybe like cutting myself.
Yeah.
And anyway, it was never for like suicidal reasons. It was just, I don't know how I got to that point. I don't know how. I don't know what made me think that was a good thing to do. I don't know. Anyway, so that's kind of the premise of my recent problems. I had and I did that all through high school. And then after high school, it got a lot better. My brother did eventually move out and eventually stopped coming back. And so that helped a lot. And I met my husband, and that helped a lot. And so I thought I was getting better. And anyway, and then 2 years ago, I had my second son. And around 3 to 4 months, I noticed there was just something different. And I couldn't handle it. I just couldn't handle it. And I just sort of like started, I guess, cutting myself again. And I didn't know what to do. And over time, I think I've gotten a little better. But now I worry that, like, what if it comes back? And, I have kids now, and I don't know what to do. And I want to talk to someone, but I don't know, like, necessarily what okay. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm worried that, like, if I start talking to, like, let's say a professional, does that mean I have to kind of like tell everyone else? And because I don't want to tell everyone else. I don't know if that's like the wrong way to look at it, but I don't want anyone to know. And
Yeah.
my husband does know as far as before we met, but I don't think he knows like recently, and unless he just doesn't want to say, I don't know. And I don't want him to start worrying about me. I don't know. I don't know what to do.
So number one, Tyler, this is some of the bravest 5 minutes that has ever taken place on this show. Okay?
Okay.
In your heart, silence keeps you safe.
Mm-hmm.
Disappearing keeps you safe. And it has your whole life. And at the same time, our bodies will scream at us from the inside out. Help, 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 right? And you watched your sister who talked a lot. She got it worse than you did.
Mm-hmm.
And you've learned silence. And that thing that kept you alive is now slowly burying you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, before we start walking into some of this, I need you to hear me say loudly, when you tell me that you're cutting, that doesn't even make my eyebrows go up. You're not broken. You're not screwed up. You're not messed up. You're not dysfunctional. You're not less than, okay? And if you've listened to this show, people tell me things and I go, whoa, oh my goodness, I'm not doing that with this, okay?
Okay.
I can tell that this is a coping strategy you don't want to use anymore. And I applaud that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's some way better coping strategies. But given what you've experienced, and I bet you and I could sit down for a couple hours over some nachos and you could tell me some stories that would make my eyebrows go through the top of my forehead. Is that probably true?
Mm-hmm.
Is that honestly true?
Yeah, just things like my parents used to say.
That's right. And that your brother
They'll keep me up sometimes.
Yeah, there you go. And so the first thing, will you do me a huge favor? I want you to take as deep a breath as you possibly can. Hold it all the way in and breathe it all the way in and hold it. Ready, go. Hold it and let it out. And right now, I bet your shoulders are 2 inches from your ears. I want you just to drop them down. Okay?
Okay.
Saying your hurt out loud is one of the single bravest things you can do. And you just did it. And I'm so proud of you. I'm glad to call you my friend. Okay?
Okay.
So cutting is, I'll do a whole show on it one day. We'll do a whole segment on it one day, okay? That's not for today, but we'll do that one day. We'll kind of walk through it all. Ultimately, over the last 20 years, I've worked with so many young people, usually women, young women who are dealing with stressors that exceed their body's ability to help themselves. Okay, it's when like this cup only holds this much water and the pipe bursts above it. And I've been really inspired by Dr. Anna Lemke's work about dopamine and how the pain-pleasure balance works and all that, but most of the time, over the last 20 years, the words I've heard repeatedly are something along the lines of, I just had to feel something. I needed a release. It doesn't even hurt. It just makes everything feel a little bit better. Did any one of those 3 words apply to your situation?
Yeah, I would definitely say it was just, it was, I don't know, it seems simple.
Don't minimize it. Which one of the ones that made the most sense to you just then?
Maybe maybe the last one. You may have to repeat it.
Just that everything builds up inside so much, and it doesn't even hurt as much as I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
I can see the bits of blood. I can see it. I can feel it, and then shortly thereafter, whoosh,
Yes, definitely.
Like how your voice is right now after taking one deep breath and dropping your shoulders. It's that, right?
Hmm.
Our bodies release our own opioids when we're hurt. And sometimes there's a hack to it's not an all the way opiate. It's not like taking, oxys or something, but there is a path that way that sometimes just goes okay. I want you to know, as a little girl who had a repeated trauma with her big brother, you had a bear that your body was trying to run from, except he lived in the next room over, right? That you have a little cup underneath a pipe that had burst and it just overflowed. And so as a high school kid, I'm so sorry that you had to deal with that by yourself. You're not screwed up from cutting. Where you end up getting yourself, where I've seen people get themselves into trouble, let me say it that way, with cutting, is the shame that follows. And everything is about secrecy. Everything is about, I've got this tool, I've got this hack that lets me get to the next minute, into the next minute, into the next minute. And as I've heard you say it, I don't want anyone to, if I tell a therapist, I have to tell everybody. I don't even want my husband to know. That's the language of shame. That's the language of somewhere deep inside is a little girl asking herself, why wouldn't my parents just freaking protect me? And they didn't. Why didn't my older brother be the normal older brother and beat up my boyfriends and make jokes, but also I knew I was a princess around him? Why didn't I get that older brother, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound right?
Yes. I used to look at my friends and had when they're siblings, and I don't know how they had that.
So here is the I want to take cutting and put it over to the side for a second, because as far as I'm concerned right now, cutting's not the problem. Cutting's the solution, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So when you feel that urge, and also it's super common with post-pregnancy, okay? Postpartum cutting is super common too. There's that sense of I don't know, what are we doing? And it just builds and builds and builds and builds, right? Going back to, I've got that little cup and it's overflowing. So let's put cutting over to the side here, okay? That's not the problem. The problem, again, this is you and I talking for just a few minutes here, but the big neon sign that I want to start with is what kept you alive is now hurting you. Okay? The same thing that kept you alive is now hurting you, and that's silence. The greatest gift you can give your body, your husband, your children, you, is to begin to tell your story. Okay. It's to, as the great Brene Brown says, shame eats secrets for breakfast. And so what we're going to do is we're going to start to lean into a secret-free life. And here's what that will do. It will be the most exposing. It will be like running down the street naked in a parade. Okay? You've never done it. You've never had to do it. And it's going to be a skill that you're going to have to learn and practice. And it's going to come in fits and starts and rages and tears and yelling and hiding. It's going to come all that stuff. So expect it. The same as you went and had surgery and you have to go through rehab. That's where we're at now. We're going to learn how to tell what happened. And we're going to do that with a therapist who knows what they're talking about. And when you go see a counselor, you have to tell nobody. And if the counselor tells somebody, they're breaking the law, okay? And their license gets taken away. But this story's got to be told. Just feel how your body feels right now after saying it once for the first time.
Yeah.
And when you find yourself in a position where you feel like cutting, you're going to develop, and it's not going to take you super long. You're going to develop a language with your husband where you say, hey, I'm feeling really stressed right now. And that's not you being a wimp. That's not you running and hiding. That's you understanding that your voice matters, that your role in your relationship matters, that you matter, and that right now things are piling up on me. Sure, we all know that 7 miles down the road, what that could end up at. That could end up as me cutting again. That could end up as me having too many drinks. Or in my house, that could end up with me and 4 cartons of ice cream in the middle of the front yard, and I'm not wearing a shirt. I'm just sitting there in a bathing suit like a weirdo, right? We all know where that could go. Those are all solutions. The problems are back here.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah.
I'm nervous you're going to get off the phone and you're going to feel better for about 5 minutes and you're not going to say anything.
I don't know what to say.
Would you call a counselor today in your area and tell them I'm not okay?
Yeah, I can.
Do you promise that you'll do that?
I promise.
My dad, he was a homicide detective for a long time, but then he became a minister for a short season, for a while, for several years. And so since my dad's a minister, if you lie to me, you'll get struck by lightning or something like that.
Goodness.
It's not really true. I just made that up.
No.
Do you promise you'll make that call?
I will.
Okay.
I will.
And here's the second conversation. I want you to bring your husband on board.
Okay.
Will you tell him that you're not okay?
I will. I may let him listen to this call, maybe.
It won't come out for like a month.
Well, yeah, you're right.
Nice try, Tyler.
I know. Buying time.
Okay, how about this? Okay, well, they're going to clip it and they're going to send it to you. Is that cool?
Okay, yeah, that's great.
Here's what I heard when you just mentioned your husband. He's an incredible guy, isn't he?
He is.
Like, of all of the men who failed you before, your brothers, your dad, he stepped up, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's going to be hard to reach out across that in trust. And I think he's earned that, according to you, right? He's earned that trust. And
yeah.
So I want you to do it while holding his hands, okay?
Okay.
So here's how the conversation goes. I talked to this podcaster today, and your husband's going to go, what? I thought you were, and he's going to be like, I know, I made a call. And then we held hands, and then I want you to hold his hands and say, I've got some hard things I got to tell you, starting with, I'm not okay. Starting with, the stress is built up, and I've got some stuff that I've got to deal with from all the way back to when I was a little girl, but it's paying off right now. I've started cutting again. I'm stressed and I'm struggling. And I'm going to reach out to a counselor, and I want you to walk alongside me in this. I want you just to say it just like that.
Okay.
Okay? And he sounds like a man who will grab you in his arms and hold you tight and say, I love you. I'm not going to try to solve you. I'm not going to try to give you advice. I love you. And then we're going to start from there. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Is that the kind of guy he is?
Yeah, he's the best.
So good. So good. Can I tell you, I don't come face to face, nose to nose, eye to eye with bravery very often, and I did today. And you and I could, like I say, we could spend, this is just scratching the surface of this call, and I know that, sweetie. And I know that you and I could talk for a long time about cutting and about trauma and about your brother's abuse and about your parents' dysfunction. I know all that stuff. But right now, everything is you looking in the mirror and saying, I got 2 little babies. I got a great husband. And most importantly, I got me. And I'm worth this conversation. I'm worth calling and getting help. I'm worth not carrying this stuff around. I'm not carrying my parents' crap anymore. I'm not carrying my brother's crap anymore. I'm changing this family tree, and it starts today. So grateful for you, Tyler. Bravery.